Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hi, I'm Tanelia. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full face of makeup products from Shop Miss A. Most of the products are going to be from AOA Studio, which is their in-house brand. A lot of the products are $1. Nothing here is more than $2. I've already done my primer. This is the AOA Studio No Pore Face Primer. It feels kind of silicone-y, but I really love this one. This is the reformulated version. I'm currently working on emptying the original. The original, one of my favorite primers that I've ever used, and the reformulated one feels the same to me. It performs the same to me. Loving this one as well. Let's jump right into foundation. These are the AOA Studio Buildable Satin Foundation Drops, part of the A+ charity. This shade is in Soft Tan. This particular formula isn't new to Shop Miss A or the AOA Studio brand. I've actually used this one before and used it up. This is a fantastic primer. They're drops. As you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and just start applying it to my face. Let me shake this up. I'm struggling a little bit getting it out of the bottle. All right, I'm just going to apply a little bit. I don't know why it's not going up in the dropper, so we're just going to go ahead and just kind of apply it all over the face. I'm just going to start blending it out using my e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. This is my favorite sponge of life. AOA Studio, Shop Miss A, they do have face sponges, and they work really, really well. They perform very well as far as blending out foundations, but I feel like they're not quite as bouncy as the Total Face Sponge from e.l.f., and they're a little bit harder to clean, so this is a sponge that I use all the time. Yeah, that is looking still nice. It's still performing the way it did the first time that I owned this foundation. It's a really, really nice foundation. One of the things that I really love about this foundation too is that it's very skin-like. Like when you blend it out, I mean, you can see now in the camera, it looks like skin. You don't look like you have foundation sitting on your skin. It's beautiful. For concealer, I have two shades. This is the new formula, the AOA Studio Locked Creamy Concealer. Like I said, I have two shades, one a little bit deeper, one a little bit lighter. This one I know is probably going to be way too light for me. This one is medium neutral, and this one is medium warm too. Let me go ahead and just swatch them real quick. I just want to see what they look like, and I'm pretty sure this was going to be too light. The formula feels really, really creamy, just like the name says. It feels kind of lightweight. So these are the two shades. This is the lighter neutral one, and this is the medium warm. This is a pretty big difference in shade, and these two are only like 2 shades up on the website. Shop Miss A, as far as their complexion products, never have a huge range of shades, but because they're so cheap, you can usually get more than one and just blend it out to get the shade that matches you. We're going to try this one and see how that one goes. I may add a little bit of this one just to add a little bit more brightness. I'm just going to apply it the way I do any concealer. A little bit around the nose, a little bit on my chin, and then a little bit on the forehead. This is actually looking deeper than I thought it was. Like, it looks deeper than my foundation. So what I'm going to do is mix the two. I'm going to take a little bit under the eyes. I might not even need to mix it under the eyes. That actually looks the way that a lot of the concealers that I normally use look as far as the tone, because I do like a little bit more brightening underneath the eyes. So I think that's going to be fine under the eyes, but I am going to mix them everywhere else because that original shade actually, you can see here, is a huge difference between the shade of my foundation and the shade of that concealer. And I go back in with my e.l.f. sponge and just start blending everything out. It's definitely more of a light to medium coverage formula. It's definitely not like a full high coverage formula from what I can see already. All right, let's start blending it out underneath our eyes. Definitely a more light to medium coverage. I wonder if you can build it up to a full coverage. I'm going to add just a little bit more, just in the area where I have the most darkness right here, and just kind of let it sit. Sometimes if you let a concealer sit for a little while, it will give you more coverage. I'm going to do my best to make sure this video is not super long, but when you're trying a full face of new products, you just never know. While that is sitting for a moment, I'm going to go ahead and do cream bronzer. This is the AOA Studio Venetian Cream Bronzer in Canal. I've really been loving this formula. It's a very pretty warm toasty shade. I'm going to take the AOA Studio brush in F13. I love this one for blending out cream products. I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to do a couple of dots. This might look scary at first, but it actually blends out beautifully. I just like to just take the dots and just kind of put them on my face. And then I take the brush and I just start blending. And it just blends so beautifully. It's like buffing it in. I really love the tone of this bronzer. Just gives me such a nice toasty warmth to the skin. Such a pretty bronzy finish. I'm going to go back in once again with my sponge and just lightly start tapping the concealer out. It's a very creamy, natural formula, very skin-like. I'm really liking that about it. The formula is really beautiful. I got a little bit more coverage, not that much more. It's definitely more of a light to medium, so I'm pretty sure with this formula, I'm going to need to put my corrector underneath it, but that's fine. I do that with most of the concealers that I use. To set the concealer under my eyes, I'm going to use the AOA Studio. This is the new powder formula, the Puff and Set in Translucent. All over my face, I do not like this formula. I feel like it looks very powdery, very makeup-y. But under my eyes, it actually sets everything really nicely, and it does add a little bit more brightness. Even though this says it's translucent, it really has more of a whiter cast to it. But like I said, under my eyes, it really does look pretty. So I just take a little bit on my sponge, and I tap it into the back of my hand so I don't have too much product. And then I just press and roll. And it does such a good job of setting, and it also kind of brightens a little bit. I am seeing a little bit more darkness coming in than I normally like. That concealer definitely is more of a medium, a light to medium coverage. Definitely not a high coverage concealer. If you're looking for something that's going to give you a lot of coverage, that concealer is not it. The under eyes have been set, and you can see it looks like there's a little bit of a white cast, but once I blend everything in and do my setting spray, that just melts into the skin and just looks bright. For all over my face, I'm using the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder in Banana. This is the original one. I love this one. I was very worried, I actually said this in the haul video, that they were going to be getting rid of this formula and having that new one. But thankfully, they still have this one. This particular shade was out of stock, but they restocked it. Let me get this little plastic off of here. You guys, it is this little plastic seal right here. It is sealed on here so well. Just give me a minute to like get it off, and then we'll move on with trying on this makeup. I'm going to take the powder and then just kind of tap it into my lid. That's what I like to do whenever I'm applying loose powder. Just tap a little bit into the lid and apply it that way. Going back in with my e.l.f. Total Face Sponge, and we're just going to take this powder and just start applying it all over our face and setting our makeup. I freaking love this powder. It sets everything down so beautifully. It blurs and it just melts into the skin. Like, it doesn't sit on top of the skin. It doesn't look powdery. It doesn't look cakey. It just looks beautiful. The finish on this powder is so pretty, and it's only $1. I have oily skin, and it does such a good job of mattifying, and it just really helps to extend the wear of my foundation. Love this powder. Moving into brows, unfortunately, I do not have anything from the Shop Miss A website. I'm just going to use my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. So I'm going to do this off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll finish off with the rest of our base products. I went on ahead and did my powder bronzer as well, since I don't have one from Shop Miss A. This is the Ardell Vacay Mode Bronzer in Sex Glow Sunny Brown. So I went ahead and did that off camera as well. All right, let's move into blush. I have 3 different options. First, we have the I Love Dew blush drops. I have 2 shades of that. We have Dolly, and then we have Cutie Pie. So we have these, and I have a feeling these are going to be similar to those Dew Cheek blushes from Colourpop. Had these for a while, have not used them yet. Same thing with the other 2 blush options I have here. This one is from the Fly With Me line, Duo Blush and Highlighter in Silk Wings. This one has kind of a red pink blush and then a light yellow gold highlighter. This right here is the only highlighter option that I have in front of me. I might pull one of my drops. We'll just have to see. And then last, from Princessa, this is from one of the other brands that they have in their line. This is the Mineralized Blush, long-lasting, silky finish highlighting. There's no highlighter in here. It's just blush. I don't know if you can see that, but they show different placements of the way that you can apply your blush. When you look in the compact, you can see the 3 shades. We have blush 1, 2, and 3. So this is an option. This one I'm going to be pulling out to use as eyeshadow later. So those are the options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try one of these. Depending on how it goes, I might end up applying one of the powder ones over the top. The shade that I'm going to go with is Dolly. This is kind of a cool toned pink. Let me swatch them real quick first. I just want to see what they look like before I apply them to my face. Very liquidy. The consistency is very much like the ones from Colourpop. Ooh. Wow. Okay, so I blended that out, and as you can see, it pretty much blended away to nothing. It's extremely liquidy. I don't know, that may not work. And then we have Cutie Pie. This is a little more pigmented, but still very, very liquidy. Just from blending on the hands, I'm not really liking that consistency. So you know what? I'm actually not going to put these on my face. Not liking that consistency. I have a feeling this one right here is just not going to show up on me at all. So we're going to go into the powder blushes. I will try these off camera and then I will let you guys know down in a pinned comment what I think. I just don't think they're going to be a good option for me right now. I have another video that I want to film afterwards, so I like my makeup to at least look, half decent. I guess we'll go into the Fly With Me. Once again, this is Silk Wings. I don't know if you can see it, but there's such a pretty little flower imprint. This one looks like a rose, and this one kind of looks like a daisy. That is so pretty. I'm trying to get that off my finger, and as you can see, that has stained. Yeah, I have a feeling if I tried to blend that on my cheeks and then it didn't look right, it would have just been a stained, blotchy mess. So I'm glad that I didn't go with that option. But once again, I will try it off camera. All right, so I'm going to dip into the blush using this fluffy brush from Beauty Bay. There is like no number or anything on it to indicate what kind of a brush it is. We're just going to lightly tap. I hate the fact that the little pans are so small, but we're just going to start applying. Oh, that has just a little bit of a glow to it. Can you see that? It's pretty though. Ooh, it's very smooth on the cheek. I have oily skin, so I don't generally like a lot of things that have a lot of glow to them, but this looks very natural. It's very soft. That is pretty. Yeah, I definitely think that this was the much better option than trying to go with those liquid blushes. I'm going to go in with this AOA Studio F9 to apply the highlighter. The brushes, rather, makeup brushes from AOA Studio from Shop Miss A are really, really nice quality. They're $1 each, but you can also get them in like a little set. Ooh! Okay, that is cool. Not what I was expecting. In the pan, it looks like it's a yellow gold. On the cheeks, can you see that? It's a pink, like a shifty, glowy pink. Oh, that is pretty. That is such a cool surprise. Like, I was not expecting that. It's lovely. They have more shades in this. I might grab a few more. This is really nice. After I'm done applying blush and highlighter, I like to go back in with my sponge and then just tap, because it really helps to kind of blend everything together so you don't have just a streak of highlighter going across your face. Wow, that highlighter is so pretty. You guys, that was a very pleasant surprise. Definitely was not expecting that at all. I'm going to set everything down real quick with some setting spray. This is the Lock in Your Makeup non-drying matte finish lightweight paraben-free setting spray. This is part of the AOA, or rather A+ charity. I've been waiting for this one to come back in stock. I've used a couple of the other setting sprays that they have had in their line. They don't have them now. I guess they've discontinued, and I love the formula. There's a little seal on the bottom. I'm going to pop that off. But the setting sprays that I've used from AOA Studio before have worked very much like the Urban Decay All-Nighter, and they were like only $1. So I'm hoping that I get the same kind of finish with this one. We're going to give this a good shake. See what the sprayer is like. Hopefully it's misty and doesn't come out in a huge stream. Oh, that's nice. Also the way I remember the other sprays being. So let me spray my face real quick and get this makeup set down. That is a nice mister. The fragrance is very similar to the other ones that they've had in their line. This bottle is just so freaking cute. I'm gonna let this dry down and then we're going to move on to the eyes. The setting spray is fully dry, and it does leave a soft kind of a matte finish to the skin, which I'm liking. And now that everything is going to dry and melt together, you can see that there is not a white cast under my eyes. Everything is just kind of blended together, and it actually looks really pretty. The finish is really, really pretty from the concealer. I'm just not getting as much coverage as I like, but once again, that can be fixed with an under eye corrector. Now, while I was getting the eye products together for the eye look, I realized, you guys, I completely forgot to use this. This is the Miss Mystery Professional Makeup Tool Sponge. Now, when I bought this, I thought it was a powder puff, but it's actually more like a beauty blender than in the way that it feels. I meant to use this to blend out my concealer, and I completely forgot all about it. Now, in Shop Miss A fashion, they did launch the actual powder puffs, but they did it, after I got this order and did the haul and everything. Got an email a couple of days ago letting me know that they had a new launch. They have two triangular sponges. One's a smaller one, one's a bigger one, and then one that's shaped like a heart. Powder puffs, rather, not actual sponges. They are currently in my shopping cart, but it'll be a minute before I actually make that order because I like to make sure I have a full order before, I actually do it. But yes, they finally did launch the actual powder puffs. Now, one of you guys in my comments in the haul video asked if I would test out, like kind of demonstrate and review the eyeshadow and eyeliner stencils on camera. I'm going to do this in short form content. I think it'll just be easier. There are several like different styles, so I might do a few different videos trying them out. Like I said, I think it'd just be easier to do it that way. So definitely keep an eye out on the short form content tab for these. This will definitely be coming up soon. Moving into the actual eye look. I'm going to prime my eyelids real quick first. This is the Shadow Stay. This is a new eyeshadow primer from the brand. And this shade is just in Natural. This was the only one they had. They didn't have like more than one shade. So hopefully this is not going to be too light. We'll see. But I'm just going to start applying it to the eyelids. Okay, it has more of a silky consistency. It's not like super opaque. That's nice. It's kind of like the Colourpop one, the one that I really like, the Party Proof, where it has like a little bit of a tint to it, but not much. The consistency feels really silky though. I'm liking that. That feels really smooth on the eyelids. They used to have another eyeshadow primer. I didn't like that one, but so far this one on the eyelid actually feels really nice. So let's move into actually applying some shadow. I think I already mentioned this, but for eyeshadow, I'm just going to use this Princessa blush palette. What I want to be the main focus of the eye look are the two Magical Girl liquid eyeshadows. So we're just going to do something simple with this. I'm just going to lay this one on the crease and this one in the outer corner, and then we'll dive into the liquid blushes. I've never used liquid eyeshadow. I've never used a liquid eyeshadow before, I don't think. So I think this would be my first time. There's no particular reason why I've never used a liquid eyeshadow. I guess it's because I didn't think I would get much use out of them. I was afraid that they would dry out, before I could actually do anything. So it just kind of made more sense to me not to really have any. But these are only $1, so it's not like should they not work that I'm going to be out a lot of money. And if they do dry out, I end up having to toss them out in the future. And once again, they're only $1, no big deal. I'm going to lay that deeper shade on the outer corner. Just want like a very simple, just neutral base for the liquid shadows. Those shades are pretty soft and pigmented. Once again, this is a blusher, not an eyeshadow, so I'll have to try them again in the future as an actual blush. All right, let's give these liquid shadows a try now. Like I said, I've never used a liquid shadow before, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Hopefully this will go well. I'm going to lay the blue one, and this shade is AOE. It's spelled AOI. I could be completely mispronouncing that. I'm going to lay this on this outer portion, and then this shade right here. This shade is Midori, and we'll lay that kind of on the inner portion. I have no idea how this is going to go, so we are just taking a risk. I'm going to go ahead and swatch it real quick. Oh, that's very creamy, and that is so pretty. Ooh, do you see how shiny? Oh my God, that is gorgeous. Super creamy formula. That was AOE, probably saying that wrong. And this one is Midori. Ooh, those are pretty. Oh, wow. I don't know what I was expecting from these, since they are only $1, but that is stunning. I'm interested in seeing if they will actually dry down on the eyelids. They may not dry down. They may stay kind of wet. All right, so that is AOE. Very shiny and pigmented. I'm going to take this little brush from AOA Studio right here just to kind of blend it out. All right, using a brush, it completely blended away. Let's try that once again with my finger. Like I said, I've never used a cream eyeshadow formula, so I'm not really sure even what it is that I'm doing or if I'm even applying these right. But let's just start tapping. With a finger, it does blend out a little bit better, but it's still a little patchy in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can build it up just a bit. Such a pretty metallic shade, but when I blend it out, it's not looking the same. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. It's really pretty when you first apply, like it looks very metallic, but once you start blending it out, as you can see, it's looking a little patchy. I'm going to take a second to see what I can do to like blend this all together and make it look a little bit smoother, and then we'll come and see what happens with the shade. I tried so hard to make this work, you guys, but the more I blended it, the patchier it got. It's like it was just wiping away. So as you can see, I completely removed it, redid the base shadow, and we're going to try this one. Hopefully this one works better, but I don't really have high hopes for it. So we're going to apply this one. And like I said, I've never used an eyeshadow before that was a liquid, so I could be completely doing this wrong, and maybe, you know, user error and not the actual product itself. Let's try blending out the green and see what we get. I'm just gonna, this one I'm gonna lay just kind of all over the lid. Yep, I'm getting the same thing. So liquid eyeshadows were a little bit of a disappointment, but as I said a couple of times, it could be user error. I've never used a product like this before, so maybe I'm doing it completely wrong. I don't know, but it's just not working for me. All right, so since the liquid eyeshadow didn't work out, I just went back in, deepened the shades that I originally had down, and then I just pulled the Fly With Me palette and I added a little bit of this on the outer corner and then did the highlighter all over the lid. So I'm a little disappointed that the liquid shadows didn't work out, but let's move into liner. I have 3 different formulas. The first one is my tried and true Artista liner. I've used this many times. I already know how this works, so it's going to be one of these 2. The first one is the Magical Girl. This is the liquid eyeliner, and this one is also like the same type of formula. This is just from AOA Studio, the Wonder liquid liner. These are like the ink ones that have the kind of the ink well in the bottom, then the brushes and the tips. When I did the haul, I called these pot liners. Pot liners really are like the gel liners or water activated. This one is an ink liner. I think I'm going to go with the Magical Girl. I really like the packaging. It's very fairy-like. Hopefully I'll have a better experience with the Magical Girl eyeliner than I did with those Magical Girl liquid shadows. Very thin little brush tip here. Oh, it's actually like a pen. It's not an actual brush. It actually feels like a pen. Oh, that's nice. That might give me a good wing. The more pointy pen-like applicator might give me a little bit more control. I like to use a hand mirror for applying liner. I actually got this one from Shop Miss A too. This is a 5 times magnifying mirror. You know, being 47 years old, I do have a bit of a struggle seeing things closer. I have this little magnifier that I got from the Dollar Tree. That's what I use to like read, you know, shade names and stuff up close whenever I'm filming. Otherwise, I can't see a thing. I have no idea what's going on. It's going on nice and black, but it's not going on like very smooth. Because this has more like a pen tip instead of a brush tip, it's not gliding on, so I'm having to like do a little bit more work to get the product on. I do like how pointy the tip is though. Let's see how it does doing an actual wing. See you guys. All right, so far so good. Okay, that was nice. It actually glided on pretty well to do the actual wing, as you can see there. This definitely took a little bit longer than it does when I just use the Artista liner, but the very pointy kind of tip on this did help me give a little bit more control, and I do like it. I mean, as you can see, the wings, they look good. I'm going to throw this cream gel liner from Colourpop and Exit in my waterline. For lashes, I'm going to apply these. I don't remember the style, but these did come from AOA Studio. I ended up having to toss the packaging away. These are the ones that we're going to apply. The last things that we have to try today, these are the Venetian Romance lipsticks. I have Gelato and then I have Sucree. I think I'm going to go with Sucree, which is this soft pink. One of the things I love about this packaging, first of all, it's really nice considering I think these are only $1. But they twist open. They're not magnetic or anything. They unscrew. Gelato is more like a red. Definitely not going for that one today. We're going to go with Sucree, which is a very soft pink. These are kind of like a satin matte formula. I mean, look at that. Look how pretty that is. I'm going to line my lips using my lip pencil. This is the Lippie pencil from Colourpop in Bumble. And now for the lipstick. Very creamy. Color is gorgeous. It's a very cool toned pink. Oh, that's pretty. And it definitely feels very matte, but it doesn't feel dry. That is a beautiful formula. Okay, I'm liking that. Definite win. I may have to go back on and get some more shades, but that is pretty. Ooh, I love the way that looks on my lips. Let's go ahead and talk about the products that I love, the products that I didn't love. There were definitely some hits and misses in this try on. And I'm just going to focus on the products that are like newer to me, not the ones that you guys have seen before. First of all, last of all, the lips. This was so pretty. I love the way this went on. The Locked Creamy Concealer. The formula is really beautiful. It's very creamy. It blends out very soft under the eyes. I mean, you can see I don't look like I'm wearing like a bunch of makeup or anything. It's not heavy. It's not creasy. The only con is that it doesn't give me a lot of coverage. This is more like a light to medium coverage, but I think once I use a little bit of a corrector underneath it, I think it'll be just fine. The I Love Dew liquid blushes, I did not use these today. As you guys saw when they swatched out, they were extremely liquidy. They blended out to practically nothing, and I was worried that they would be really patchy in the cheeks and that I would end up with a bunch of splotchiness, and they did kind of stain too. I mean, they stained my fingers a little bit. Once again, this as well as the sponge. I'm going to try these off of camera and try to remember to drop a pinned comment and let you guys know what I think of these. Now, the Fly With Me Blush Duo, I freaking loved this. This gorgeous kind of pinky red blush with a little bit of glow. Just look at that. Oh my god, it's gorgeous in the cheek. And then the highlighter, which looks like it's a yellow gold, actually ended up being a pink. I mean, look at this. It is stunning. I really enjoyed using the Princessa 3 blush palette, although I used it as an eyeshadow. I didn't use it as a blush, but it's pigmented. It was smooth. Definitely going to use it as a blush later, let you guys know what I think about it. The major disappointment of the video, the one that just didn't work out at all, were the Magical Girl liquid eyeshadows. Now, as I mentioned, I have never used a liquid eyeshadow before, so I may have been doing it wrong, but these just would not blend out for me. When I first applied them, they looked very smooth, very wet looking, very metallic, but the second I started to blend them out, they just got patchy, blended away. Let me know down in the comments if you have used these, and if they work for you, let me know what you did. Let me know if there's something that I could do, or if I'm using this particular type of product wrong. Who knows? And then the last thing that was newer that we tried today, this is the setting spray, the Lock in Your Makeup non-drying matte finish lightweight setting spray. The finish feels really nice. My skin definitely feels matte. It helped to blend everything together, melt everything together. I'll have to let you guys know as I wear this makeup throughout the day how well it held up, but so far I'm liking it. Lovely, smooth mister, to apply it as well. But that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I did have a couple of products, as you can see, that didn't really work well for me, but if you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Really does help with getting the videos into recommendations. If you're new to the channel and you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe, and make sure you tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. And you can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.